There's a children's story that's not really a children's story. The Emperor's New Clothes by Hans Christian Andersen. There was this emperor that loved to dress up because it made him feel better about himself. He would look more like an emperor to his people. One day, two weavers came to town that knew this about the emperor. And they went to the emperor and they said to the emperor, they said, "We can weave you clothes unlike any other in the entire world. Clothes that will shimmer with beauty, made out of gold thread and silk thread, but it will cost a lot of money." Then they said to the emperor, "But there is one thing," and they whispered to the emperor. They said, "If you're stupid, or if you're not good at your job, you won't be able to see the cloth." The emperor said, "Well, that's amazing." And so he gave the men a great deal of money, and they bought the silk thread and the gold thread, but they didn't put it on the looms. They put it in a bag and put the money in their pockets. And they started to pretend to weave. Night and day, they would sit at the looms, but there would be no thread on the looms. The emperor was so excited about the new clothing that was being made for him that he sent his chief minister down to look at how they're proceeding. And the men were sitting at the empty looms. The chief minister looked at one loom and then at the other loom. He couldn't see anything there because there wasn't anything to see. And to himself, he started to ask the question, am I not good at my job? Am I stupid? Well, if I am, I must not admit it to anyone. And so he gushed on about how wonderful and beautiful the colors were. And the two men said, "Be sure to go and tell the emperor." And so he went back and he said, "Your Majesty, it is the most magnificent thing I have ever seen." Well, the day of the big parade was coming, and the emperor was so excited he went down to look at the cloth himself. And when he went down and into the room, he was shocked because he couldn't see anything on the looms. And so he questioned himself. He said, "Am I not a good emperor? Am I stupid? I don't think so. But if I am, I must not admit to anyone that I can't see anything." So the emperor complimented the men on the great job they were doing. They said, "Sir, we need more money to buy more gold thread and more silk thread." The emperor gave it to them. The day of the big parade came, and they told the emperor that the clothes were so light that he would hardly feel that he has anything on. And he put the clothes on, the pretend clothes. He was told by everyone around him that the clothes looked magnificent because everyone didn't want to admit to another person that they couldn't see anything there. Well, the whole kingdom knew of this, and no one wanted to admit to their neighbor that they weren't good at their job, that they were stupid. So everyone cheered and clapped as the emperor marched in the parade naked. A little boy tugged on his daddy's pant leg and said in a very loud voice, "Daddy, he hasn't got anything on," out of the mouths of babes. And pretty soon, whispers started in a different way across the crowd. "He hasn't got anything on." Very shortly, the king also knew, but the king thought to himself, "I must not admit to anyone that I know, therefore I must continue to march to the end of the parade." As human beings, we're very self-conscious. We're afraid. What are we afraid of? We're afraid that someone else will discover who we really are. We view ourselves from a lack of self-esteem, and therefore we try to dress ourselves up. and we try to put on a different image. There is a saying, the clothes make the man, but the clothes don't make the man. The man makes the man, and the woman makes the woman. The clothes we wear, they're just outer costumes. We only hide who we are for a brief time. These weavers are the two men that come to town. They're weavers of dreams. You're seeing a lot of this today on Wall Street, where there's scandal after scandal, where people have bought into things. These weavers are sellers of the momentary illusion of happiness by obtaining something outside of yourself. They go into the palace and they talk to the emperor, who has everything by birthright, can have anything that he wants. And as their authority for selling him the one thing that he feels he doesn't have, is they use the two words that work on the majority of the population. Everybody knows. So often we fall into that trap. We think they, in quotes, they are so many, surely they know more than little old me. I must not even question. I must believe what they think. And so the king does the same thing. Surely they are right. Surely they must know more than me. After all, there's so many in number, and it goes back to they versus you. One man said, some people can't see the cloth even when they're looking right at it. The people who can't see the cloth are blind with stupidity, or people not good at their jobs. And so we see one of our primary fears, the fear of every person. I might not be as good as I think that I am. So no one questions. Each person accepts the authority of the all-knowing they. No one dares to think for themselves or speak up for themselves or express their own opinion. My friends, one of the primary important things in life is to go to God for God's wisdom. And then if you're given an idea, speak up and act on that wisdom. You are not alone in this life. You have the wisdom of God coming through you. You have the power of God empowering you. You are much more than you think you are. You do not put on anything with outer garments. You put on everything with inner garments. Put on the Christ. God bless you, my friend, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.